Hello everyone. Yeah, we have Mr. Shivang Pareek with us, and he is currently an alumni of IIT Gandhinagar, and he graduated in 2021. He was welfare secretary at his time, and the most important thing I would like to mention is that he got Pioneer Batch Gold Medal for outstanding leadership and it is given to only one student who is graduated in that particular year, including MTech, PhD, and all BTech, and all other students who graduated at that year. So this was a brief introduction from my side. I would like to hand over to you here for your brief introduction.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Shivang Pareek. I'm currently working as an entrepreneur in residence at Your Dost. So basically, Your Dost is like startup in the mental wellness area where we are serving the B2B companies with one-on-one sessions and building communities and all that things. So yeah, like my task here is basically to do anything and everything that it takes to grow the startup and find new avenues where we can generate revenue and grow the business basically. So before that, I was in Textbook as an associate category manager. So basically in a marketing role for about a year. And yeah, that was my first job post my graduation in 2021.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And one more thing I would like to mention that I was in the first year when he was in fourth year, and the like I have talked with him 2 or 3 times, but I have listened about him more than 10 times in my more than 10 or 20 times in my whole first year because of only his leadership. Here we take the topic of the problem solving, like how like what is the importance of problem solving in leadership and in general. Uh, so uh, like Shivang Bhaiya is very good in problem solving, as I got many feedbacks from his batchmates and also other seniors. One question for you. What were some problems that you solved, like were some major problems even in at IIT Gandhinagar and also beyond that?
So yeah, so like I'll maybe start with one problem like that I solved at IIT and like that is the closest one to my heart, I guess, in the college. So basically, like when I was elected as the welfare secretary, it was the time of like between the first and second wave of COVID. So like at that time, like there were around 500 to 1,000 students in the colleges, like in our basically camp like hostel premises. And like the major problem that they were facing was like there was no way of interaction among the students because like they were there for their research work or I guess like attending the courses or like other things or like just because of the reason that they can't go home at that time, but like they were having a very monotonous routine, like there wasn't any activity that they were able to do, and due to the restrictions and all, like the seatings and everything from the like common areas were removed. So like that was something at hand, and like why I really liked it is because the way the like I approached the problem, like obviously like there are some common things that what a lot of people were doing at that time, and like maybe having online games or online meetings where people are cheering up each other and maybe sharing the videos and everything. But like what like there was a lot of thought that it took into that, like we were even I was discussing with a lot of friends and faculties, and one solution that we came up with was to like the your design thing that we did, like in which we planned that we'll design a small gathering space for 5 to 6 people in every hostel that we have. So like why I like this was this isn't a very direct solution. Like uh, direct benefits of the your design was people are designing their own spaces, people are adding beauty to their hostel, but this is serving to a very important problem at hand. Like rather than going about like other solutions that okay, students can leave the hostel for 15 minutes or they can meet with their friends for 15 minutes, we came up with a solution where even the people didn't had an idea like this is the problem that we are solving through this. They were thinking that okay, like this is something just for the adding beauty to the hostel. But what happened was like when we like designed those spaces, people started using that, and anyways like the people using a particular space of a particular hostel was anyways living nearby, so they were like the spread was also contained in case like if someone is infected, like it would be like near about only 4 to 5 people of gathering, and also they were enjoying those places. It was a change of ambience to them and change of like the location they were being in the hostel at 24/7. So yeah, this was one thing that was the like problem solution that I came up with, and like that was very interesting to me.
Yeah, very nice. I just wanted to add that I also one of that victim who felt very bad during that time, and I just entered the college at that time. And after some day, like I heard read about this mail, and I saw those places were really well looking after some day, and yeah. And yeah, this was a nice way in which like you indirectly engage people and solve some other problem, and they even just not thought that this is the solution for that particular problem. Very nice. So here, what do you, like for such kind of problem solving, do you have any incidents remember in the past which you think that is the beginning of your problem solving ability? Maybe from your childhood, any experience?
Here, like to be very honest, like in the school, I wasn't a kid who was very interactive with others, and like my exposure was very limited. You know, typical story of how we get into IIT. Like, you know, we just get to know about IIT in 11th or 12th, and we start studying. We don't have many friends. So yeah, like that was the case till then. In the first year, even like there were some courses that helped me a lot. I'll say like there is a design course that was in my first year. So that was very interesting because like for any problem solving now there are like certain things that you have to keep in mind, like what is the root problem that we have to solve. Like there are some branch problems that we might have, and there will be a root cause to all that. So identification of that root cause, then doing the surveys or research to validate the hypothesis, that like the solutions that you have in mind, you have to validate those. Then you have to test out, you have to iterate. So all these things were like, I guess design course was one thing that was very interesting because of that. Like I learned a lot of things from that. And other than that, like in the leadership perspective, it was during my second year that I held a first, like my first leadership position. It was as the secretary of drama club, Abhinay secretary. And it was a very interesting role, reason being that I was just in my second year, this was my first position, and like that leadership position that I was holding. And like in the club there were a lot of third year members also and fourth year members also. So like I guess it's very easy to deal with your batchmates because they are friends anyways. Like even if you are like not doing a good job, they'll be there for you, they'll be supporting. So you don't get a very good feedback regarding your leadership at that point. But when you are also dealing with the seniors in your team, you have to direct them that okay, this is something that you have to do, and like all those things. So like I guess with trial and error, I'm not saying that I did a very good job there. Like there were a lot of things in which my seniors supported me. So but yeah, like that was something that like was a great experience where I learned about a lot of even the problem solving itself. And like that was the time when I got to know that yeah, leadership position is something that is very interesting, and I should take more such positions in like the other years.
Yeah, nice. And now also you are pursuing the same path. Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. And so my next question is how it like the problem solving ability in general helped you in leadership and also in general in your personal life also.
Yeah, so like just as you mentioned, like my current roles are very similar. Like even at textbook, like I was looking at the marketing side, so it was a very problem solving oriented role. Basically, you have to identify why a particular course or a category isn't performing. You have to come up with solutions, and in the marketing, the solutions aren't very direct. Like there could be a lot of reasons. There could be external factors that could be affecting. There could be some mess ups on your app. There could be like some sale going on in some other app or something like that. So like this is like, and my current role as well, like in this role it's a more general role. Like as an entrepreneur in residence, I don't have a fixed task or fixed goal that I have to achieve. I have to figure out my own problems and figure out the solutions to them myself. So like another more like challenging as well as interesting role. So yeah, like in the career itself, it has helped me a lot. Like there's a lot to learn also. Like there's no one size fits all solution in the problem solving anytime. So it is helping out me like in the career itself. And also I'll say like it helps me out in like giving me the satisfaction. Like you know and like various people learn like love something about their job, like either the chasing some particular goal, or like doing something that they are like into. So like I'll say like what drives me to like work more is that when I come up with a solution to a problem and that is being implemented throughout the company or like throughout the like this is something that becomes a standard operating procedure for others. So I love that very much, that this is something that I came up with and this is something that like others are following. So yeah, like that is the biggest motivation that I have anytime I'm working.
Very nice. Yeah, it is like really good thing when you solve some problem and it goes for years and years, and you are the like beginning of that
Yes.
solution. Nice. So my next question is very similar to the last question. If so, how important is to be a problem solver for any person, even who is not in any leadership position, but in general life, how it is important to being a problem solver?
Yeah, I guess to me it's very important because like anything boils down to solving a problem. Like, even if you are into coding, you have to code for some, like there's a problem at hand for which you have to code, like, you have to come up with a solution. So like, I guess anything, like even the smallest thing that, even non-work related that you are doing, it's kind of a problem solving. Like there's something that you are facing and so you come up with a solution to it. So I guess, yeah, like it's a very important skill, just that like it's very important, like more important in some roles or in some domains, and less important, I'd say, like in the leadership for per se. Like it is very important for like one particular reason that I feel is like if you are a good problem solver, you have one thing that that will help out a lot in like motivating the team. Because like in a leadership position, you'll always have a team that will be working for like working with you, and they'll be willing to work a lot. But the issue sometimes that the managers face is like they aren't able to motivate the team. Like why should they do that? But if you are a good problem solver, you will if you will be able to present it to the team that why this problem is important to be solved, and why this solution that we are looking at is very is the kind of the best solution that is possible. So then the team has a motivation to work, because they think that like, okay, the work I am doing is very meaningful, right? Like it is adding some meaning to it, it is adding some value to the like system as a whole. So that's why, like, I guess in the leadership positions it is very important. But yeah, I guess it's relevant to anything in life.
Yeah, nice. Very well said. Yeah. And you also mentioned your approach in problem solving, starting from that design course. Could you elaborate about that? Like, or if you get any problem in leadership and in your personal life, so what is your particular approach to going deeper into the problem, understanding the problem, basically, like mainly finding out the real problem and how you solve like your approach about
Yeah, so like basically like generally, like there are two three steps that might be involved. One is, as I said, like identifying the problem itself. Because like I'll give you an example, maybe like
that.
like let's suppose if you are into a sales business, and if you see that your sales has dropped, right? So this is obviously a problem at hand. Like that your product is good, but the sales is has dropped for some reason. So but you cannot solve this right away. You cannot ask someone that increase the sales. Like even your team
Yeah,
will be confused what to do. Like, should we increase the marketing budget? Should we increase the people that are like salesperson, or should we do some changes in the app? So like, I guess the most important thing is to identify the exact problem, because like this lays the foundation for all your future work. So if the problem identified isn't correct, all the efforts, like even if you put your 100% in it, but it isn't helpful to you, right? So first thing, I guess, is the most important is identifying the correct problem. So in this case, like if the sales isn't happening, so you might first look for external factors like sales going around in other companies, or maybe like there's some major domain shift, like during the COVID pandemic. So like, it could be some like it could be something that couldn't be solved, right? So, or
yeah,
else like it could be an internal reason, might be that there's some glitch in your I guess the journey that the user is having, or else like the user experience isn't very good, or the interface isn't very good. So that, I guess, is the first step, like identifying the exact problem at hand. Then like again, the second thing is like I guess coming up with a good solution, because like to any problem there will be a lot of solutions, right?
yeah,
Some will be short term solutions, some will be long term solutions, and some solutions might create some other issues somewhere else. So, and it could never be the case that a single problem would have a single correct solution at all times. You have to, there will be times where you have to come up with short term solutions, right? Because if it is something that is easy to execute and you have to do it urgently, right? So you will come up with a short term solution, or else if you have time at hand, you will maybe look for the long term solutions, right? So it depends again. So I guess the second most important step is to figure out all the possible solutions, all the feasible solutions, I'll say,
Yeah,
and then
feasible.
figure out which is the most apt based on the situation at hand, right? So that is something. And yeah, I guess this summarizes. But the third thing that I'll say is very important is identifying the problem that you have to solve. like I guess it's the most important. Even before identifying the problem, you have to identify the problem that you have to solve. Because obviously, in any setup, if you are in a business or something, maybe a startup, so there will be a lot of problems at hand, right? It couldn't be
Yeah,
the case that only there are 2 3 problems. And some would be the problems in which low input is required and there would be a high output of it, or high output is required or low input, so basically mixed combinations. So I guess you have to pick the problems firstly carefully. It should be a high impact out problem, but it should be a low effort, or else a medium effort kind of thing, right? So I guess, yeah, problem identification from that part is also very important.
yeah. So, diving more deeper into that, how you come to know this is the exact problem? Like in some cases, we go deeper and deeper, and we have to stop at some point, and even we can go more deeper. So, like how you identify that this is the particular problem which I have to solve, the problem identification, like when you realize that this is the actual problem.
So basically what I'll say is you'll know when, obviously we can go till a very till a lot of levels. But I guess how we can know is basically there are two tools that you have at hand. One is the data that you will be getting anytime, and the second is can you come up with a solution for that particular problem in any scenario? You should have an answer to that. So the example I was giving, if the sales is dropping, if I say someone in my team that sales is dropping, do something, obviously they cannot,
Mm.
they don't have any idea what to do.
Yeah,
But if I come to a maybe a second level, that okay, this is the sales is dropping externally, it is all okay, there is some issue in our app, do something. Again, they'll be confused what to do, right? Should we focus on the cart, or should we focus on the middle funnel, top funnel? So they'll be confused. Then the third layer, right? Okay, I'll say that maybe there's a issue in the top funnel. Basically the users aren't even coming to our page, right? So again, this may be the solution, this may be the point where people can started looking for the solution. Or else if required, we can go one level deeper also. If the people aren't landing on that page, are people landing on other pages? So this is something that will be assisted by the data that we have, right?
yeah,
So data analysis, I guess, is very important part of the problem solving. So yeah, I guess with these two things in hand, we can find the exact the core problem. Again, and also it depends on the intensity of the problem. If it is very severe or very critical to your system, so obviously you have to dig very deep. But if it's something that will not affect the system as a whole, so you can find uh, like uh, at a superficial level also. So again, it's, I guess, case to case basis.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, got your point. And my next question is, what difference you see in you and any person who is generally unable to solve a particular problem? Like in general, you have come across many people in your life in professional and personal work. So what difference you see in between you and them?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say there's any difference from the skill side. Obviously, skills are something that can be gained anytime, right? If you
Yeah,
don't know something, you have to just Google it, or you have to take a course maybe, and you can learn it. But I guess the thing that lacks most of the time, I guess, is motivation. Basically, if you aren't motivated yourself, it's impossible to motivate others. And also, like if you don't have the drive to solve that problem, if you don't get the satisfaction out after solving that problem, so I guess it's very hard, because you won't see the meaning of doing those things. Once or twice you will do it, but you won't be in that zone that you have to do this and this is something that is interesting to you. So I guess, yeah, like for me, I'll say that the point that stands out most is like my motivation to solve a problem. Because if you are
Yeah.
motivated enough, you will anyways, like obviously you are an IIT, and so you will come up with some solution. Just that, motivation is the thing.
Yeah. No, so skill is not like here
It
skill is
is
not
important, but
barrier.
yeah, that is something that could be learned. Motivation,
Yeah.
I don't know how to learn to be motivated.
Yeah. Okay. So so the and my next question is slightly maybe funny for you. Are there any incidences in which being problem solver backfired you?
uh, I guess like it will always backfire when you have other problem solvers also in the team, right? Because like anyhow you try, like I was saying that to a problem there will be many solutions, and for each perspective there will be a lot of solutions that are feasible, that are possible, that are very ideal to the situation. So I guess, yeah, in that case, if like the second solution is being chosen to, like, that is something that people are going ahead with. So yeah, that is that is something that that will be very hard to digest for you. So I guess like it has happened in the past, like a lot of time. Obviously, the if you are working in a team, the views won't match, and
Yeah.
like given the set of people that we are around, like in the college itself, so like everyone, like most of them are like motivated to solve a problem or like that. So yeah, it's a lot of time there will be a conflict of interest, and I guess it's with time you will learn the way out. With time you will know that how to objectively, like defend your arguments, like rather than emotions driving you to come up with a particular solution, follow your, because obviously if you have come up with a solution, you will think that this is the best solution in the world.
Yeah.
So like with time you learn, like with failures you will learn that okay, how to look objectively at things, and how to like even discuss or argue with someone objectively on those points. And once you are in that zone, so you'll also like, I guess this problem will be minimized. But yeah, like I guess I'll say till now I face this problem that like in the conflict of interest, sometimes like I feel like, oh, like my solution was much better.
Yeah, so in general, I think we should discuss with the other person who get the solution, and you both have to come to a particular
Yes,
point that can be
exactly.
like that point can be you will be convinced or the other person will be convinced
Hmm.
for that particular point. Yeah.
So, like, I guess in this, the random discussions that we have over Panchayat Circle or with friends, so like that is something that helps a lot. Because, if you are discussing on some random topic with your friends and, you are debating, so you get to know like others' perspective also, what are they thinking, and, like you get different perspectives. So, I guess like that is something that helps a lot.
Yeah, so in this case, we also have to remove our biases for
Yes.
the particular. Okay, yeah. And we are for people like us and many our audience who are not very good problem solvers. So, any tips in which we can improve our problem solving skills?
Like as I said, like I guess like skill is very easy to learn. Like maybe not easy to learn, maybe, but it's available in the market. You have a lot of resources to learn a skill. So I guess it's important to identify the problems that excites you the most to solve, right? So basically, for some, it would be something in the maybe machine learning domain that they are interested in, that kind of problem solving. Some people would be motivated towards sustainability, right? Like I personally love to solve those problems in which I am helping out the people. Like my both the professions that I had in the textbook, like textbook's goal was to provide the cheapest like mode of education for the people who can't afford, like the tier 2 tier 3 city people who are trying to grab a government job. And again, in the ordos, I am in the, it's a mental wellness space where like we are helping people to have a good mental like not just health, maybe mental wellness, having a good mental wellness. So I guess, yeah, like this is something that drives me, this is something that motivates me. So I guess it's important, like to identify that zone, that what is the problems in the world. Obviously there are like limitless problems in the world, if like so like it's important to identify the ones that you resonate with and come up with the solutions for those.
Yeah, so we can use this to basically find our interest and also the our potential career path. So yeah, those problems which we interest we can pursue for the future.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Bhia. It was like really great hearing from you. And yeah, like our audience will hopefully very like this and get many insights for the problem solving domain. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Bhia.
All right. Thank you so much. Like this was very interesting experience for me also.
Yeah.